Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the one and only LightStream funding play that everyone is talking about. I'm going to be showing you how to use this to get funds in your bank account as soon as the same day. Usually it's the next day, but it's super fast. LightStream provides all sorts of personal loans. They are probably one of my top picks with regards to banks that are going to be pulling from TransUnion. So if you have your TransUnion credit report clean, LightStream is a funding hack that you can use to get up to $100,000 by using their unsecured, or actually you could say, secured auto loan program. Now they offer different types of funding here. You can see different, wedding, whatever you need personal loan wise, right? But in order for you to get the best rate, you want to have the highest credit score possible. Now, if your credit score is not as high as you would want it to be, and you need funding, and you have a clean profile, you might want to consider adding Tradelines. Tradelines are the fastest way to boost up your credit to get you to like that 720, 750 range. So that way you can get a better rate with your loan products and credit approvals, period. You can also add higher limits, which gives you that higher comparable credit. So that way, if you don't have any higher comparable credit, you can add an authorized user, which will give you that higher limits to show that you can be trusted with that higher value. Comparable credit is really important, especially when you are up against a computer system. And I always tell people, apply in the middle of the night. Just make sure your personal information matches the application on your credit report and on your credit application, and you don't have any fraud alerts or consumer statements on your credit report. For those of you that have gotten credit repair in the past, you want to make sure that you don't have any fraud alerts or a consumer statement on TransUnion, because that can result in an automatic denial. All right. So again, LightStream is going to pull from TransUnion. I have seen them pull from other bureaus, but it is primarily TransUnion. They're looking for 700, 720 credit score. If you are worried about them pulling Experian or Equifax, you can simply lock those credit reports so they can only look at your nice, clean, pretty credit report with TransUnion. All right, so get those trade lines. If you need trade lines, I can help you. Members of my credit community will also get discounts on trade lines. We've got the entire LightStream play and how you can get up to $80,000, how this person got $80,000 with LightStream using the unsecured auto loan hack, I guess you could say. So what you're going to do is going to go to apply now, and you're going to fill in the basic requirements. Now this is going to be an individual application. You are going to select the primary loan purchase to be used auto purchased from an individual, because basically you're telling LightStream, I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy it from an individual so you can put this money into my bank account and then I can do whatever I want to do with it, right? And LightStream never asks for the VIN number, they never ask for proof of purchase. So this is a nice hack to get you a lower interest personal loan by going through the auto. Now, not everyone is going to be approved for this. Sometimes you already have multiple auto loans, so it might not qualify for everyone. But for those of you that have maybe one or even two auto loans, you can certainly get a third auto loan, but it probably wouldn't be more than like $40,000. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now, if you do go through the application process and for some reason you are denied, you can always try to call into their reconsideration line and ask if you can apply for a lower amount. Sometimes I have people that apply for $80,000 or $60,000 and they don't realize they're not going to get approved for that because they don't have comparable credit and their income isn't high enough. So they get denied. But had they put a lower amount for the auto, then they would have gotten approved. Okay. So sometimes, you have to think like the bank. Okay. If you have never never managed a $40,000 loan or a $20,000 loan, what makes you think that the bank's going to give you an $80,000 loan? All right. So we have to think like the banks. And if you want to screenshot the playbook that I put in our credit community, there it is. Okay. There it is right there. All right. That's what they put as the income for the housing costs. You want to put, $500 to $800. Okay. Household income needs to be a little bit on the higher end. If you don't have pay stubs, that's okay. Okay. If you are unsure about the whole thing, you can always book a call with me and see what the best course of action for you would be, what amounts you should put in there, what numbers, what's best applicable to your situation. I'm not saying fib, but I'm saying think like the bank. If you tell them you make $65,000 a year and you're asking for a $65,000 auto loan, you have to think like the bank. Do you think that you would give that to someone? Probably not. We probably wouldn't feel comfortable giving someone a $65,000 loan when they only make $65,000 a year, right? You just don't have enough assets to be able to cover that type of debt. So again, the household income needs to be a higher number if you have a higher number that you are requesting, or else you might not be able to afford that in the bank's eyes. Okay. Now, if they ask how you heard about them, you really can just put anything that's best applicable to you, or you can just put Truist. Don't put my name, please do not. Okay. But you want to put your zip code in here, the loan amount that you're requesting, if it's $50,000. But again, you have to have some sort of comparable credit. So if you've already had an auto loan that you've paid off in the past, or any sort of personal loan, pledge loan, whatever, some sort of comparable credit, then you can kind of compare that to, what you have and what you've been trusted for in the past, and kind of add 30,000 to that, right? So if you're going to push it to the limit and say, hey, I want that 80,000. I've already had a $40,000 loan. I've already had a $50,000 loan. Let me push it to the limit and see what I can get. Okay. Hey, go big or go home. Let's do 80K. We're going to select auto pay, okay? The interest rate can be up to 13.39%, but again, it's always going to be dependent on your credit. So that's why I'm saying optimize your credit reports before you go in through the application process. And if you are denied, you can put another application in within like 30 or 60 days. But of course, once they pull your credit, they see what your credit was at the time. So that's why I say do this smart, do this strategically. Make sure your TransUnion credit report is clean and optimized. If you need to add trade lines, let's do that before. And then once the trade lines hit, then you can go through the application process, okay? Once you hit continue, I'm just going to put in like a zip code here. Once you hit continue, you're going to see what your terms are, and you're going to need to put in all of your employment information, housing information, all that good stuff. Okay. Now I always select the lowest term or payment amount possible, and you can always pay more against that. It's going to be a slightly higher interest rate, but that's okay. Put in all of your personal information. Of course, be honest, do not use a CPN. I don't recommend it. Make sure you select United States. Work status, you are always going to be employed by other. Okay. You never want to put employed by self. That is a red flag. You never want to put student or not employed. You always want to put you are employed by other. You want to put your description in. This is your job title. It needs to be some sort of management, operations manager, operations director, events director, something to that effect where it would match the salary. All right. Company information, go ahead and put in your company information here. If you are self-employed, this would be your company's information. Your work phone number times with the current company. This should be over 5 years because that's going to show stability. If you've only been there for 3 months, that's going to throw up some red flags for sure. So of course, you want to just be honest, but at the same time, think like the bank. Annual salary. Okay, they're asking you, what is your annual salary? Now, again, what the person put in here was this number right here. And that's what got them approved for the $80,000 amount. Do you have other annual income? Now, if you do, because you have a business or properties, or you get some sort of support, you can select yes and select something in here. Sales, self-employed, whatever, the pension, whatever the case may be. Total monthly housing cost, again, what we want to put is a lower number because that's going to make us financially responsible for a lower number. So I would go ahead and just put $500 in here. Estimated equity in home. Now, if you do own the home, that would be great. You can go ahead and just put in like 200,000, 100,000, whatever the case may be. Checking account balances right here. Okay, so this is, just what you have, and put those numbers in. If you don't have any, you can just leave those blank and continue to the application. Now, I'm not going to fill out all of this information, but you kind of get the gist, and this is the basic outline of what you want. You can screenshot that because that's what they used. Now, when you have completed the application, you want to just double check, make sure all the numbers look good, everything is correct, the name matches your credit report exactly, the address matches your credit report exactly. Do not apply if your personal information on your TransUnion credit report is not updated or not correct. You cannot use a different application. It might get you declined. All right. So you want to make sure everything matches your TransUnion credit report. Once you accept the offer, they are going to place a hard credit pull with TransUnion. You can always dispute it later to try to get it off. It's really not a big deal. Then you're going to go through the application. They're going to tell you if they need any additional documentation. That could be pay stubs. Could not be. Sometimes they ask for them, sometimes they don't. If they do, then you can upload your pay stubs. If they don't, great. Just wait for the answer and the money is in your accounts fast. And they don't ask for any updates as far as the VIN number or purchase agreement or anything like that. So that, my friends, is the entire LightStream play. Run it. Let me know if you got approved, because this is a quick way to get fast funding. It's not the cheapest way, but it is a great way to get a personal loan at a much much cheaper interest rate than you would, say, with just a general personal loan, because personal loans are generally very high risk. There's nothing securing them. There's no type of collateral that they have. There's nothing to say that if something went south, they're going to get their money, right? But when there is some sort of, something securing that, like an auto, now that they have a little bit of security, knowing that if you go and don't pay your payments, they can come and take your vehicle or the vehicle, right? But in this case, they don't ask for any of that information. So, hey, do it while it is still working. Again, let me know if you had success with this. And of course, if you're not ready to apply, don't apply yet. Wait until you have fully optimized your credit report. If you need credit repair, reach out, book a call with me, and we can see what the best plan of action would be for you, because not everyone needs credit repair. So that's why I say always book a call with me to see what it is that you exactly need, and we can get a plan of action into place and get you back on track. Until next time, my friends, I want to thank you for watching. Make sure that you have subscribed to the channel Credit Coach Nicole Scott, and of course join the credit community where you can get discounts on personal trade lines, business trade lines, shelf corporations, and so much more. Until next time, make sure to watch the video coming up next. Take care.